If you're a competitive player trying to really elevate your game, you absolutely know the heartbreak of watching a perfectly set up shot just sail 3 feet out of bounds. It's the worst, right? Well, welcome to this explainer. Today we're tackling a massive, incredibly common issue out there: how to stop overhitting the ball. We're going to look at exactly why it happens, the serious toll it takes on your game, and the precise techniques to cure the habit once and for all. Okay, let's dive into this.
Section 1. The overhitting problem. Recognizing the destruction. So ask yourself, are you swinging too hard? I know, it sounds like a beautifully simple question, right? But I want you to genuinely think about your actual habits out there. When the match gets tight, or maybe you get a ball that looks just a little too inviting, do you abandon your mechanics and just try to absolutely blast it? You know, it's a perfectly natural reaction, but managing that raw, almost primal urge to overswing, that's the dividing line between an erratic player and a deeply consistent, successful one. Let's take a hard look at the cascading costs of this habit. First up, missed shots. I mean, when you launch a ball straight into the back fence, you're literally handing out free points to your opponent. It's really that simple. Then, because you're missing, you start experiencing the second consequence, which is poor control. You suddenly stop trusting your swing, your mechanics get all tight, and ultimately, lost confidence. It just turns into this vicious cycle where you feel completely paralyzed on the court.
Section 2. Why we swing too hard. The instinct versus the reality. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how it contrasts our natural impulses with our actual goals. Look, when we feel pressured, human nature just screams at us that hitting harder is the absolute best way to escape danger. But giving in to that instinct to swing too hard, it leads straight back to missed shots and poor control. Instead, the reality we actually want to achieve is controlled power. This is the promised land, guys. This is exactly what leads to winning more points. So how do we bridge that gap? How do we move from a destructive instinct to a point-winning reality?
Which brings us to Section 3, the 4 technique fixes your actionable roadmap.
Let's move to our first pillar and see how this builds. We're talking about better spin. This is the ultimate technical fix to keep aggressive shots safely inside the lines. Think about it. Hitting a completely flat ball with massive pace gives you essentially zero margin for error. But brushing up on the ball to apply heavy topspin, that changes the physics entirely. It actively tames your raw power, making the ball dip and land safely in the court. It's really your first major defense against overhitting.
Okay, our second technical fix is relaxed grip pressure. This just means loosening your hands to prevent the tension that literally causes overhitting. You've probably felt this. When things get tense, we tend to just white-knuckle the racket. Well, that tension travels right up your arms and completely locks up your fluid mechanics. By consciously relaxing your grip, you actually free your body to swing properly, completely preventing those wild, stiff errors.
Next up, we really have to look at your strategy with smarter targets. So the crucial point is, you simply do not need to hit an absolute rocket if you're placing the ball intelligently. If you're always aiming for the most obvious spots or trying to paint the corners every single time, you're gonna feel forced to hit incredibly hard. But by picking smarter, higher margin targets, your placement does all the heavy lifting. It totally removes the urge to overswing on every single play.
And that brings us to the final fix, smoother timing. What we mean here is generating effortless pace through a fluid motion, rather than pure muscle. Listen, when you try to muscle the ball with brute force, your swing instantly becomes erratic. You just lose control. But when you focus on smooth, unhurried timing, the kinetic chain fully connects. You generate pace naturally, keeping your power perfectly in check.
Section 4. Winning with controlled power, putting it all together.
And this brilliantly illustrates our ultimate foundational takeaway: controlled power can win more points. By applying those 4 technique fixes we just went over, you actually stop playing against yourself. You aren't just surviving out there anymore, you're dictating the terms. You eliminate the missed shots, you regain your control, you rebuild your confidence, and you step onto the court with real power that you can actually trust. It's a total game changer.
So, I want to leave you with this final, provocative question to chew on. Which of the 4 fixes are you going to try first? Are you going to focus entirely on generating better spin, or maybe you're going to prioritize a relaxed grip pressure? Will you map out smarter targets, or really lock in on smoother timing? Pick the one that resonates most with your current struggles. Take this structured explainer directly to your next practice session and start turning that frustrating habit into highly controlled point-winning power. Keep learning, keep focusing on those fundamentals, and we'll see you next time.